I am really glad and I must congratulate all of you who have come this far for a worthy cause. I had some contacts with NASA around 74, 75 when Khan had passed away. We had a trophy, rolling trophy for historical studies. And couple of times I visited NASA and I must say, very impressed as an organization. Particularly, its uniqueness is in the way the organization is. Because as I gather, there are no permanent headquarters. Neither there is a permanent structure of some kind. I may be wrong, but I think that's what I gathered. And in spite of that, NASA has continuously grown, organized, and successfully done their annual conferences. And I think that is something which is extremely important to learn. That how does one create such organization which is informal and yet permanent and ongoing? And I think this year's topic that you have selected is very much like this. Because you are talking about now getting the students actively involved in something which they go through or they pass by or they have observed every day. All of us, whenever we walk on the streets or when we go to our home, maybe in our community, we cross through places and those places sometimes are neglected, sometimes they are not good, sometimes there's a garbage or maybe there's a cow or maybe somebody's car is lying there and it becomes a dump yard. But actually, if you go and see some cities in the world, you don't find such a thing. You don't find dump yard there because they think, that the space that they have around them is a very sacred place, a place which is very precious. That it is possible to clean every place and make every place sacred, meaningful, useful. And then what happens is, it's not only the place becomes good, but people start using it for very different purposes. Like as I said, not only a garbage and a dung palace or maybe a sewage pit, now it has become a place of ritual, temple and whatnot. So what does that mean, when you find these places and they get transformed into something very precious? And if we can do that in every place, and if we can go to every area, then I think it's a miracle. And what I'm glad that you have several thousand students. And supposing the 3 students, 4 students make a group, so you will have at least couple of thousand groups working on it. And if there is a competition like this in which you say any neglected place can be made to some use and show us what can be done, and supposing that that happened, and if we start implementing them, whatever the ideas are, it's not the prize, it's the idea. And the love, which you do that and the kind of thought that you have, what would happen to the hygiene of our place? What would happen to the culture of that place? And every place becomes sacred. So if the groups of students go and in every mohalla they go and they make 10 spaces, 10 spaces, 5 spaces, won't that be very nice that the children will go and play, the ladies would come there and discuss something, maybe they will have the rituals, maybe they will do some other activities, and somebody might plant trees, somebody might create sitting place, somebody might create a place where they can discuss. So all our villages and towns earlier times had such places. Today nobody goes there. And because nobody goes, garbage comes in. because it is neglected. So actually, no place actually is neglected. Every place can be used. If somebody wants to do the work, what would happen? So, in old time, there were cobblers coming there, or somebody who wants to do some stitching, or every house has some work. And actually, the best part of India is these little spaces are used by other people to do their business. And they come and they clean and they place there and they sit down. It's not begging. It is doing something which will earn them money. And as a result, the place becomes better, people get employment, people can get something else, and the society begins to become different. And if you have all those competitors' drawings are there, and if each school went back to that place which they had studied, and if they show those people, the owners of those places, the society or a college or a school or a mohalla, and said, look, if you do this, you will have a nice place to be for children, for ladies, for other people to gather, maybe for you to pray, maybe you can put something there so we can all come and have gossip. So how many things would start changing? And I'm very sure each place has at least 5 or 10 places. So if you make those 10 places, what would happen? And if we make a network of these places, suddenly you find that now that's a big asset. If it is a neglected place, it belongs to no one. But the moment it is used, everybody thinks what price it is. So the land values change. Apart from hygiene, apart from health hazards, apart from noise and smell and disease, it becomes a precious place. And that precious place becomes very important. How would you like to connect them in terms of activities? And you said there is no neglected place, but it is actually the most important place to generate activities, social service, health, hygiene, and they become important. So the proposal that you have taken, according to me, is a lot of meaning, that you are saying neglected place, because everybody always talks about a place which has return. You are talking about a place which has no return. Now, if you convert this, then do you know how much return places you will have? Indirectly, you are talking about public awareness. Otherwise, you are also talking about consciousness of people trying to see how they become cohesive, they become together. So the moment you start talking about the smallest place, then gradually you are talking indirectly suggesting that what about others which are slightly bigger. So abandoned place is actually a meaningful place. Between the two houses there is a margin. Usually people don't know how to use the margin, and that becomes a dump yard. But actually that margin is the most important place because you can do so many things. So what it means is that you are creating a colorful life, a joyous, unexpected life, and it is like a reward. And I think that reward is what you must look at. So it's a big contribution from you. And if you can do that, and if NASA can do and then finally publish a little book, it will change the country because it will go everywhere. You send it to primary schools, you send it to secondary schools, you send it to all the people through newspaper. All right, if they get an idea what would happen, they will get involved with it, they would love the place, so they will have less time to quarrel or think something else, then they will become friends, and then they will become a community. So actually you will find that communities happen when people get occupied with things outside their daily life. And I think what you are doing is, you are doing a service to make people aware about the so-called neglected places as the catalyst for is generating new meaningful life. So if you want to make people healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, I think convert neglected places into assets and gardens. Is that possible or no? Have you seen how many ways they can use little things and they paint a little and they become toys, they make noises and everything happens. That is Indian culture. That is Indian tradition. Frugal but meaningful and joyous. What do you think of the Chinese who have brought toys now? How many kinds of toys they have brought? Do you go to toy shops? How many toys are Chinese? And how many inventions they have done? How come? Because they have learned to use minimum and create maximize. And they are making money and it has become a big industry. So maybe learning through this will be, you will start learning about using things, your head, your talent, your skill in multiple ways and in a better way. So I am saying, I wish you that this will spin off into something else and it will change in India our studios and professional, meaning that they are not only expensive but they also work for the poorest of the poor and give them the best. So it will change notion of NASA and profession. Okay, so good luck.